Chapter 2. The Firstborn Echo. These corridors were wrong. Kayla and Aluris had walked enough fortress hives and necropolises to know the language of stone, the grammar of walls. Even the most ancient imperial ruins bore logic. Avenues converged upon cathedra. Vaults descended towards reliquaries. Ducts obeyed some mechanical function. But here, the turns were arbitrary. Corridors bent back upon themselves. Archways led to alcoves with no purpose. Junctions split and rejoined like veins. It was not a place built to be walked. It was a place built to confuse, to swallow. He advanced with one hand on the revolver, the other skimming the wall. The stone was clammy beneath his glove, damp, as if slicked with condensation. His lamp pack cast light no further than a dozen paces, and even that seemed tenuous, as though swallowed into the walls. Gone was the sense of time. His Kron's dials spun in a mockery of order, marking hours that could not exist. Even his own body betrayed him. Muscles tightening, mouth dry, as though he had marched for days. Though he could not recall rest. It was then that he had heard it. A sound rolling down the corridor like a low chant, carried by stone. Voices. Voices that were not his own. He stopped, listening. The words came indistinct, yet he knew their cadence. Harsh consonants, drawn vowels, the guttural inflection of old Vestroya. They were prayers, half-remembered catechisms bellowed by men trained to recite them on the march. And beneath the prayers, his own voice, clear, commanding. "Hold the line! For the Emperor's sake, hold!" The sound came from every direction, filling the labyrinth until the stone itself seemed to tremble with it. Aluris turned a corner and froze. The passage ahead was filled with them. Silhouettes in greatcoats and furred hats, lasguns clenched in gloved fists. The Vestroyan firstborn. His firstborn. Their eyes glowed dull in the lamplight, glassy and accusing. Faces were pale, frostbitten and blue-lipped, but their mouths moved in unison, whispering the words he had shouted to them on the day they died. "Hold the line." One step forward, banner rising from the shadows. Its cloth was burned, edges ragged, but he could still make out the sigil. A golden aquila stitched by a mother's hand, the threads charred black. The standard bearer's jaw hung loose, frost clinging to his beard. Yet his voice boomed with perfect clarity. "You promised us." The corridor swam. Aluris staggered back, revolver at the ready, though he knew no bullet would unmake what he saw. His lamp flickered, catching the sheen of ice on their coats, the glitter of guilt on their bayonets. He remembered the day as if reliving it. The ridges of Gathis choking with plague smoke, the Vox hissing with his empty assurances, the Nova Fist's fleet still days away. He had told them to hold, and that they did. And for that they died to the last man. The voices grew louder, overlapping into a single roar. You promised. 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 The walls pulsed with the force of it. Stone cracked. Dust rained down. His lamp sputtered. Allures fired. The revolver barked flame. Like thunder clapping down the corridor, the closest figure collapsed, fur cloak billowing. But as the smoke cleared, it rose again, hole yawning in its chest, banner still held aloft. The weapon trembled in his grip, its Grya-etched runes still glowing faintly from the discharge. Forged from the armor of a fallen angel of death, it had always felt eternal in his hand. But here, even a relic of the Adeptus Astartes would prove useless. Even the Emperor's angels had not saved them. Why should a weapon forged from their steel? They marched forward. Allures stumbled back. His shoulder struck stone, the passage bending into another turn that had not been there before. He fled into it, the chant following, echoing until the voices bled into the sound of boots on shale, the toll of distant bells, and silence once more. He pressed against the wall, chest heaving. The revolver shook in his hand. 3 rounds had been spent, its barrel smoking. But the silence had teeth now, and he could hear it chewing.